Welcome back, everyone. So today we're starting off a new series of videos where I take a video game trilogy or a series of games and talk about each one, what they mean to me, and then rank them from my favorite to least favorite. Now I want to exaggerate, if a game ends up being last on this list, that's not me saying that this is the worst game in the series or that it's a bad game in general. A lot of times I probably like all of these games almost equally, but there's just something about the others that I like more. So, today we're going to be talking about Sonic the Hedgehog, one of my favorite, if not my favorite, video game mascot of all time. I loved everything about Sonic the Hedgehog as a kid. I loved the TV shows, I loved the comic books, and of course, the games. But even though Sonic was plagued with a lot of bad games throughout the years, you can't deny the originals, and that's what we're going to be talking about. So, I've said it before, I'm pretty sure I've said it before, the Sega Genesis was my system as a kid. It was the first game system that I had, and Sonic was one of the games I played the most. So, of course, we got to start off with where it all started, Sonic the Hedgehog. So Dr. Robotnik has kidnapped innocent animals, turned them into robots, and it's Sonic's job to save the day. So that's pretty much all you need to know. I hate to admit it, but like a lot of people, I honest to God thought the Genesis came out in the 90s. I had no idea it came out in the late 80s. But let's be honest, it was Sonic the Hedgehog that really kind of lifted the Sega Genesis to the massive success that it was. In this game, I still love going back to and playing to this day. I mean, just everything about it. It's a gorgeous game. The levels are great, most of them, and the music is phenomenal. The controls are solid. I mean, it's just such a fun game. So some of the notable levels, you got to talk about Green Hill Zone because, I mean, it's such an iconic and great way to start the game, and it's been redone so many times, maybe too many times, in other Sonic games. Marble Zone was one that I always kind of enjoyed. I feel like my biggest complaint about this game is the stage order because I kind of feel like it could have been ordered differently. Marble Zone kind of all of a sudden slows you down a little bit, and I remember having a hard time with this stage as a kid. But regardless, I don't know, I've always enjoyed this level. There's something about like lava and stuff that just intrigues me, I don't know. But I think my favorite has to be Starlight Zone. I don't know what it was about this level as a kid, but I remember using the level select code all the time just so I could get to this stage. It's something about the music. I don't know, I found the level to be kind of peaceful in a way. Is that weird? But what else is there to say? It's a great game. It's one that I still enjoy going back to this day. And it's just such a great way to start an awesome series of games. So, of course, next up is Sonic 2. Robotnik is back at it again, but this time he's kidnapping and converting innocent animals to robots in order to build his ultimate weapon, the Death Egg. I don't know if this was genius or pure stupidity, but the Death Egg has become so iconic in the Sonic franchise. It's so weird. But of course, this game introduced us to Tails, everyone's favorite useless character. I don't know if it was just me, but I found so much enjoyment killing Tails in any way that I could when I was a kid. That's probably not a good thing. So the one thing we didn't talk about in Sonic 1 were the Chaos Emeralds. There were 6 of them, and now there are 7. I had no idea what the hell these were for when I was a kid. I had no clue. I just thought they were a bonus item. But in Sonic 1, if you got all 6, that unlocked the true ending, so to speak. In this one, you got Super Sonic. Didn't even know Super Sonic existed until much later on. So I'll admit, this is no doubt a great sequel. This is what a sequel should be. And I don't understand how game developers back in the day could ruin a sequel. I mean, basically you could just take the same damn code, make some slight modifications, add some stuff, and you have a great game. And I feel like that's what they did with Sonic 2. They just took the foundation and added more to it. But here's the thing, for some reason, this game doesn't click with me. I don't know what it is. It's a great game, don't get me wrong, and I feel like it improves on Sonic 1 in every way, but for some reason, it just doesn't click. I don't know. But anyway, let's highlight a couple of zones. So first up, we have Emerald Hill. This is pretty much just a Sonic staple. The first level has to be like some kind of green, foresty, naturey level with water. This is why I don't do video game reviews. I don't know how to articulate the words. But it's not as iconic as Green Hills, but it's still a great way to start the game. Next up, Chemical Plant Zone. I feel like this level is overrated. Is that just me? It's been redone in so many other like Sonic games, like Sonic Mania did it, Pretty sure it was in Sonic Generations. I mean, it's not bad, but I hated this level as a kid. And there's just that one part, and I'm sure everybody knows what I'm talking about. I die there all the freaking time. Even to this day, I still die there. Irritates me. Hilltop Zone was one I always liked as a kid. I don't know, there's something about the background and being like above the clouds. I always thought that was cool. And then Sky Chase Zone was just a great way to kind of break up the monotony a little bit. One thing we didn't talk about for Sonic 1 was the final boss, which the final boss, I don't know, for some reason seemed kind of basic and simple, and I feel like they kind of upped it a little bit in this game. So first up you fight, and I don't know, is this like Metal Sonic? Is it Silver Sonic? Mecha Sonic? Whatever he's called, I'm not sure. But for some reason, I always really enjoyed this fight. It was such a cool fight in my opinion. But then, I don't know, for some reason, the actual final boss just infuriates me. It's been a long time. I probably should go back and try playing it again, but I don't know. Especially if you've ever played this game as Knuckles, good luck. I don't know, can you even beat it as Knuckles? Because I don't think he jumps high enough. Maybe it's not as hard as I remember it being, but it's supposed to be hard. It's the final boss. Whatever. Moving on. So how would I rank Sonic 2 compared to Sonic 1? You know what? Like I said, it does everything that a sequel should do. But like I said, I don't know why. It just doesn't click with me. And it's one that I don't find myself going back to as much. So I kind of have to say Sonic 1 is still my favorite. Next up, if you're keeping track, Sonic the Hedgehog 3. So Sonic 3 takes place on the mysterious floating island where Robotnik crash-landed his Death Egg after the events of Sonic 2. So this game pretty much starts up right after Sonic 2, which is pretty cool. He tricks Knuckles into thinking Sonic and Tails are the enemies while he tries to steal the Chaos Emeralds that keep the island afloat to repair his ship. So first up, you gotta admit, the intro to this game is awesome. They come flying in on the plane, he comes in as Super Sonic and all this kind of stuff, and then Knuckles hits him and takes away the Chaos Emeralds. And the game starts. And here's what bugs me about this. For some reason, even though I saw Super Sonic at the very beginning of the game, I had no idea what the hell Super Sonic was. I must have forgot it. Because the thing about this game, this was actually the first game I ever beat 100% as a kid. And a big part of that is the fact that you can actually save your game. And yes, you're probably like, whoa James, did you play Zelda? I didn't play Zelda. My grandmother did not have Zelda, so I never played it. I didn't play RPGs as a kid. I didn't know saving your game was a thing. So I thought this game was the shit just because you could save your damn game. But anyway, I remember getting all 7 Chaos Emeralds and seeing the message that Sonic can now turn into Super Sonic. And I was like, what? I had no idea. I had no idea what that means. And mind you, I didn't have the internet. This was before the internet. I couldn't just go, what is Super Sonic? Had no idea. Until it happened, and it blew my mind. So again, to me, this game is everything a sequel should be. Everything that made the previous game great, just improved upon. The great thing I love about this game are the additional power-ups that you get. You got the lightning shield that kind of acts like a magnet and pulls surrounding rings towards you. You got the fire shield that protects you from fire and allows you to do that cool little fireball thing. Then you got the water shield that makes you breathe underwater and also bounce. So again, we're going to highlight some of the levels. First up is Angel Island. Again, you got the really cool intro, but what I love about this zone is the fact the second act, basically everything's set on fire. In a way, it's kind of ironic, because, the previous games, the first level's all green and pretty and beautiful and all this kind of stuff, and then they just set fire to it. Ice Cap Zone was no doubt my favorite as a kid. The snowboarding section at the very beginning was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. Then, of course, there's the Launch Base Zone, which is the final stage of the game, and it's just so cool to see, the Death Egg in the background being repaired. And then I think my favorite part is your anticlimactic fight with Knuckles, which for some reason was just so hilarious to me as a kid. So I'll admit, it took me forever to beat the final boss in this game. And I had mentioned that Sonic 2 was pretty rough, but I remember having a hard time with this one. But to add to it, the music gets all ominous, the screen goes black, and he just comes out with this kind of horrifying creation. But I remember beating this game for the first time, because like I said, I had never beat a game 100% without, using cheat codes or something like that. And I felt proud of myself. I was like, I am now a gamer. So, where would I rank Sonic 3? You know what? I'd have to bump it up to number 1. I love this game. I don't know. As a kid, everything about this game was just great to me. I loved the level design. I loved the music. It just, again, it was everything that made the other games good, but better. And yeah, it's one that I probably play the most to this day. So, last up, we've got Sonic and Knuckles. Let's be honest, the only real way to play Sonic and Knuckles is with Sonic 3. But we're going to be talking about it as a standalone game. So of course, this is a continuation after Sonic 3. Sonic knows that many Chaos Emeralds, including Master Emeralds, are found on the floating island, which Sonic can't let Robotnik get his hands on. And of course, Knuckles still doesn't fully trust Sonic, but let's be honest, he's just trying to protect his home. So like I said, this game is pretty much just a continuation of Sonic 3, and the games were developed basically at the same time, so not much has really been added, aside from the fact that you can play as Knuckles this time. Which is really cool because since Knuckles can glide and climb, there's areas that he can get to that Sonic can't, so there's like different paths that he can take, so it definitely adds a lot of variety. So once again, we'll highlight some zones. You gotta talk about Mushroom Hill. It's a staple. It's very green, very naturey, very foresty. But what's cool about this zone is the fact that the seasons change later in the level, which I'm assuming was due to Robotnik's little satellite thing or whatever that was. Sandopolis zone, this was one that I found like kind of frustrating as a kid, but I loved it because anything like ancient Egyptian influenced, I just love it. And I always thought the boss was super cool. And finally, Sky Sanctuary zone is probably my favorite Sonic level in general. I don't know what it was about this level, but I just absolutely loved it. And it was cool to see this brought back in Sonic Generations. And we gotta mention the Metal Sonic fight at the end. I've always loved Metal Sonic, and this isn't the Metal Sonic that we know and love from like Sonic CD. So with that being said, the final ranking for me would be Sonic 3, Sonic 1, Sonic and Knuckles, and Sonic 2. Again, I'm not saying Sonic 2 is the worst. It's not. Actually, all of these games are just amazing games. But for some reason, this is kind of how, when I want to go back and play a Sonic game, this is kind of how it ends up being. Sonic 3 is always my go-to game, if not Sonic 1. I will admit, I typically don't play Sonic and Knuckles by itself. I typically always play it with Sonic 3. But again, I don't know what it is. There was just something about Sonic 2 that just doesn't click. It is still a great game, great level design, great music, but for some reason it's just the one that I'm least likely to play. But anyway, all four of these games are classics, and thank you so much, Sonic Mania, for finally giving us a good, classic Sonic game after so many years, 2 decades of just crap. Was it all crap, though? I don't know. Maybe that'll be another video. Well, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. You know what to do. Like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments how you would rank these games. And I will see you again next time.